Let's say we got Leonardo DiCaprio. Well, Leonardo DiCaprio's the lead. I'm a second.
Right.
They are so great that me being a third with those two heavy hitters, you know how great I will play out? Work is one thing, but energy and attitude is another. And if you have bad energy and bad attitude, I don't want you around. Madam Secretary, Blacklist, as I said, Fright Fest, Lurking Fear, which I can't stand the movie, but it's the way it is. These are the films you do the roles to get to the next role.
Armand Assante. That's such a distinct voice.
He goes, I want to let you know something, Ryan. I'm a big fan. So I go, I'm sorry, could you say that one more time? He goes, I'm a big fan of you. I watch all your stuff. I think you're right. I'm going to call my father because I don't know how to answer that.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Burn Down Podcast. In the studio, we have a character here. He's a character for sure. We rescheduled everything for him to be here. This is Chris Mormando, a.k.a. Gaetano from Gravesend. What's up, my friend?
What's up, fellas?
What's happening? He's a character on screen. He's a character in real life. I'll tell you that.
We got cigars. We got coffee. We got Justin and Eric. I mean, what else? What are we on with?
I mean, honestly, and we're filming at 11 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay, so it doesn't get much better than this. Would you rather be working or would you rather be smoking stogies?
Amen and amen. And that's La Familia, to rearrange and do what we have to do.
That's
because we had to rearrange because of film, and that's how we roll. And,
hey, listen.
But we don't stop. We keep it going.
You gotta do what you gotta do, man. You
Always.
gotta make things happen. You gotta pivot. You gotta be adaptable.
You know it.
That's what life's about. So
Coming all the way from middle New Jersey?
Yeah, Aberdeen, New Jersey.
Aberdeen, New Jersey.
So it was a long,
little bit of a hike.
It's a hike.
So that's central New Jersey. That's
Yeah,
central Jersey. Okay.
it's a little bit towards the south, but it all depends on what south you're going. If you're going by Atlantic City, that's way further down.
Okay.
I'm more like the Point Pleasant area, the Long Branch area.
Got you.
Okay.
Yes,
So
I got
like
you.
that. But it's, like I said, hour and a half if there's no traffic, 3+ if there is traffic.
Yeah, that's the thing with Long Island, Jersey, the tri-state area, the Metro New York area.
Long Island, Brooklyn. There's no good time anymore.
But for you guys, it could have taken
appreciate
3 days and I would have been here.
We appreciate it.
3 days.
And speaking on that note, for you traveling 2.5 hours, we actually have a couple gifts for you.
Yes,
so we
we
wanted
do.
to gift
Yes,
for
we
you
do.
for your time.
Let me grab them.
So
You see, I feel this energy already.
Come
See,
on.
the energy is flowing right now.
All right, so the first gift, well, it's obvious, okay? We got to send you home with a couple of stuff.
couple of Blueprint cigars.
Blueprints.
Woo!
All right.
Guys, look.
Yeah.
What up?
Yeah, that's it.
I love
The
it.
second gift
Oh,
is a little Brunello di Montalcino.
Madonna mia, che chi stia abbiamo due cose, mama.
Oh, we have another
Brunello.
Italian speaker here.
No, it's all fake Italian, by the way. It's all fake Italian, just so you're all aware.
So we have a Brunello di Montalcino from Italy.
2015.
Red-
Damn.
2015.
a
It's
Reserva,
good bottle.
2015, by the way, Reserva.
Class.
Oh,
But we also
have.
we know you're a big hip hop guy.
oh yes.
So I don't know if you have a record player, but I want to get you something hip hop oriented. So I got
Okay.
you, or we got you.
Oh no, you.
I know
did
Tupac's
not.
the boy. So we got you a record.
God,
you know.
Tupacalypse now, baby.
Yeah, that's it.
Woo!
So I don't know if you have a record player.
I don't have one, but
But-
you know what?
But it's a
I'm
good
gonna
piece of artwork if you wanted to hold it up somewhere.
God, Brenda's got it in my home. Oh, come on.
So Eric was saying you're a big hip hop fan.
Big.
Tupac's one of your favorites.
Big, huge Pac fan. I mean, I was there when he was killed. I was there in Vegas.
Really?
Really.
So what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to
elaborate
get you,
on that.
We're
Oh.
gonna have to get you a record player so that you can put on the Tupac album, pour
Tupacalypse
yourself
now.
a
What up,
bottle,
West Side?
pour yourself a glass of Brunello di Montalcino and light up a stogie.
And lighting up the stogie.
And it'll remind you of this episode right here, this podcast.
God, look at this. Fellas, I can't say thank you enough. I mean, this is...
Of course, we appreciate
Thank
you
you
coming on.
for
and
making
the way.
that drive. That's a hell of a drive.
Hey,
and
I
then you
told
got to
you.
go back. So
You know what I've learned, right? And I will always hold my word. I told you guys I would be here. I would never break it. And when I got the call that we were going to be doing filming, first thing I said, Eric, you got to just help me out here. I'm not bailing. I won't do that. I'm not going to use an excuse or I didn't feel good. I'm going to be there. But for me to come out at that certain point of the day, I was like, that is never going to work because I have to be early call on Thursday. So for me to drive the 3 hours, go back 3 hours,
Yeah.
get myself situated, Gaetano's going to be ready for Gravesend.
right,
We need the energy
Exactly.
for season 3.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, season 3, it's for Gravesend For the people who don't know, it's a show
Up
on
there,
Amazon.
up there on the wall.
We previously had the owner. I mean,
I don't even know.
the
Can
creator.
you see it on this camera angle?
Yeah, oh
Can
yeah.
you see it back
It's
there
right
in the
there.
corner?
Good, right there.
Bada
Right
bang,
there.
bada boom, right there.
Will
Is that
DeMayo.
season?
Will
What
DeMayo.
season is that? What poster is that?
That's for season 2.
Season
Season
2.
2 poster.
That's
So season
two.
3 is being shot right now.
We got to get season 1 over here. We got to replace
Yep.
season 1 here. We'll get season 2 over there, and
And
then we'll put
season
season
three.
3 somewhere on the wall.
Well, season 3's got a couple big players. I mean, I've seen Shaq in there.
Madon.
James Harrison from the
Oh,
Steelers,
my
Hall of
God.
Famer. That's nuts.
Listen, this season, I mean, I gotta credit everyone. Season 2. The reason why I worked on season 2. Season 1, God bless it, got everything started. I wasn't a part of season 1. Season 2, though, when I was asked to be on it, it was I knew Will. I never worked with him prior to Gravesend, just so you know, but I knew him. And he was like, Chris, I really want you to be a part of season 2. And at the time, I was working with 50 Cent for the show called For Life on ABC. So I was contracted in. I couldn't get out of that one.
Mm-hmm.
And nor did I ever want to get out of that one. I love that show. And when Will said, he goes, could you tell me your dates? I go, give me the dates. And this is what I said to him. And he'll verify it. I go, I don't need contract. I don't need anything other than you just giving me your word. But you tell me the dates. I'll block them out. And I will not disrupt your film and your show.
Yeah.
But you got to give me dates. Give me a block of dates. And I will tell everybody else no. And I did. And I would never go off my word. He goes, I'll get you a contract. I go, you don't need a contract with me.
Yeah, you
First
need
of
one of
all,
these.
contract, exactly. And it was on the phone. So I said, Will, I just gave you a shake and a hug. It's done.
Yeah.
That's a wrap.
They
I'm
call
in.
that the Jersey contract, right?
That's right. Brooklyn, Jersey, whatever you want to call it. But it's an honor code. And when we did that, he was like, buddy, I'm going to make your character so pivotal, so as you see in season 2.
Oh, yeah.
But when we got to set the very first day, we're in Miami, and we were in Miami for about a good month and a half. And first day on the set, we're like, all right, now it's here. And he started out the first day on the set in the club scene. So it wasn't the first opening scene.
Yeah, yeah.
But there was 100 background people. The entire club was rocking. I looked at him and said, ready? I went like this. I'm tipping my hat to you. Because for you to do what you're doing right here, that's power. That's money. That's no joke.
Yeah.
100 background people. That ain't like...
You got to pay them all.
And you have to have every camera crew, every wardrobe, camera, food, locations.
It's all got to be set up.
All
yeah.
got to be set up. And I'll tell you, Michelle, woo, my favorite. Michelle is my favorite. I always tell her she's my favorite producer in the world. Because this girl wears a million hats.
Yeah.
And you know, every time on the set, I have never seen her once flustered, never rattled. She is Gaetano. I love you, Gaetano. I go, Michelle, I love you more than you even know. And it's the truth. And I don't kiss no one's ass. Never. Never did in my life, never will. I just speak it like it is. She is unbelievable. And Will, to what he has done, and I know he was on your show, and he's still even... I call him too humble. Even on your show, he was too humble.
Yeah.
He doesn't understand sometimes what he does. And I ain't saying it. He knows what I say.
Yeah.
I say it to him personally. He doesn't understand sometimes what he really has done for others, including me. Because just because you see my IMDb and all the stuff that I work on, no. This role is one of my favorite all-time roles. And it's so much entailed that it's not just a guy that goes into the street and shoots and beats somebody up. Displaying rage, to me, is not acting. Displaying rage is anybody can really display a rage scene, right?
Just start screaming and
And hitting somebody with a bat. And I do that well, but I also love the fact that he gives me that. It's so controversial. It's so pivotal. You don't even know where Gaetano's going. Is Gaetano going to kill everybody? Is he going to rat? Is he going to kill everybody and still rat? You don't know.
So that's actually something great to talk about. Is anybody can portray the rage, right?
Yes.
But it's the ability to control the rage while you're raging, if that makes sense.
It does make a lot of sense.
You're screaming and you're yelling and you're being loud and you're bashing shit.
Yes.
But you still have lines. You still have a role that you have to play. So it's like I have to be able to control and then shut it off when all right, cut, shut it off, and then put it back on. So it's when you're angry. Think about it, right? When you're actually angry, okay, and you're mad and you're frustrated about something, it's hard to just turn it off.
That's
yeah.
Right?
No
The emotions are going.
Adrenaline.
So being an actor, you have to get those emotions going, but then be able to shut them off.
And
realize, no, I'm
again.
not actually angry.
You got to be exhausted from all the on and off switches that you do all day.
Crazy.
It's a ton. But it comes with, it's how do you explain this? I have friends of mine that will watch the scenes and they'll go, how did you get so angry 1 second? Then you're laughing another. I go, these are my friends. You should know that's me my whole life. Some of my friends used to go, all right, he's laughing, so I don't know if I'm getting nervous. He's laughing.
If it's a good laugh or a bad laugh.
Is that an evil laugh that's coming? Or is that...
My wife, nobody is, I always say it, I do have the best wife a man could ask for. I say it all day long. And again, my wife will go, my husband ain't a kiss ass. He ain't doing this again. I didn't fight with her. I ain't trying to get a little something tonight. I'm getting something tonight no matter what. But she has learned me so well over the years that she'll go, and I go, the hell was that? And she goes, that's the laugh you're giving right now. It's starting to annoy me because I'm starting to see another side. and I'll start going, she's right. She's right. Or she'll hear me in a room and I'm talking. And I go, yeah. Okay, keep talking. Yeah, that's right. And all of a sudden she's like, oh boy. Because now he's starting to lose it.
Yeah.
So but when you're on the set, that's right. It's a big difference of how to shut it off and then watch. Do it again, starting from the beginning.
Right. Yeah.
Do another take. It's
exhausting.
Only thing I ever say to anyone in any scene that especially is with me, you better be prepared. You better be ready. And I'm not talking like an idiot. You better be prepared because I'm going to be. Mm-hmm. And if you're not, that's the only thing that'll ever get me upset on a set. Mm-hmm. Because that means you're thinking maybe this is a joke, or this is not someone's livelihood, or this is not somebody's career. If you're a singer, I'm your drummer and you're the guitarist, and we're playing off key, and you're going to be like, what the F?
Exactly. Be prepared.
Just let that computer. Check the computer real quick.
Oh, no, it's fine.
Okay. No, I've heard you say it before. I mean, it will make sense just in anything that you do. When you have a business meeting, when you have a when you're talking in front of an audience, you just want to be prepared because you don't want to sound like a rambling idiot. You don't want to sound like you don't take anything serious. So I completely agree because I can't imagine being in a film, being on a show, and kind of and people do it obviously, but just kind of just willy-nilly like, okay, whatever, I'm just going to go.
It happens a lot.
Yeah, because I can imagine, you get a group of guys, let's say there's 5 people that are in the scene, and 4 of them have studied the line, studied their ass off, memorized every single line. Now, granted, you might stumble, okay? So nobody's perfect. You're going to stumble lines. Doesn't mean you don't know them, but you might stumble. It's fine. Right. But you're prepared. You understand the role, understand what is required of you of this scene, right? Okay, in this scene, you need to act drunk. Or in this scene, you need to be raging. In this scene, you need to be kind of like, maybe like kind of mad, but maybe you feel like you know what he's about to say, but whatever the role is. And then there's that one person that didn't study the lines.
That's right.
That ruins everything.
Do it. And then now all the other people are like, it's a waste of my time because I put all this effort in, but you didn't. Yeah. And we can't film the scene without you.
It's like doing a school project. It's like a group school
crabs
project.
in a bucket,
That's
right?
very true.
It's like crabs in a bucket. Yeah. There's the 4 people climbing, and the one guy who didn't do it is pulling all of them down.
Yeah.
That's right.
And I feel like the scene is only as good as the least prepared person in the scene.
Yeah. 1,000% correct. And I'll never name names. I have been into a part where there was a scene where I was in, and it was, let's call it a 5-man scene. And we're doing the scene, and it's me and a guy next to me. We're doing the scene, and the other 3 have limited amount of talking, but their lines are important, plus their timing is important. Yada, yada, yada. We do the scene. All of a sudden, they go cut, and somebody goes, what went wrong? And this is the only time I ever flipped out in a scene. And again, it's one of the films I've done. And I said, well, first of all, maybe if these 2 were not partying the night before and weren't hanging out, like this is a joke, maybe they would have remembered their lines. Because I don't know about anybody else, but I'm not here for my health. I'm here to do career work.
This is a job.
And this is not a hangout. And when you see, and I've worked for the last 11 years straight, over the 11 years, when you see how others are on other people's sets, all it did was make you lose a job on my set.
No doubt.
That's all it did.
Mm-hmm.
I've had people come up to me and say, your film, how come, you never asked me? There's two answers to that. One is, well, you've done about 17 films. I've never heard you ask me. Right? But watch.
Phone works both ways, right?
I don't play tit for tat. But the second is that it's just not for you. I have allegiances to certain people in this industry that I love, Will being one of them. And it's not just because of the role of Gaetano. It's because of the levels of respect. He gives respect. He gives more than a lot of people would give another person, and I'm going to tell you why. And I've always told him this, even at our kickoff party for season 3. I got on the microphone, Gaetano did his thing, and I'm like, I know you're too humble to understand this sometimes, but I'm going to say it. You give so many people opportunity that I think they take it for granted. They think it's that simple to get in a show or a film. And then when they get there, they complain. And when you complain... Who's the fool?
I hate complainers.
You're complaining in front of me now. Now I'm going to have my own film, like I just did, or films. Mm-hmm. Guess who will never be invited? Mm-hmm. If you're going to complain on somebody else's set, then you're going to complain on my set, and that's negative energy. I won't take it.
I hate complainers,
and I won't take it. I won't take it. I take all positive energy, and over the years that I've had, even with regard to my film, when I spoke to Will, I said, Will, for you to go from a number 1 spot on a show to play a 5th in my film, and it's not because you couldn't handle it. It's because I've already had casted before even Gravesend started. Mm. So I'm not going to take something away from somebody else to put him in now. And if I'm going to put you in, it's going to only degrade what you're doing. You're at number 1. Mm-hmm. You're not taking James Gandolfini from The Sopranos and making him play a 6th or a 5th in a small little independent.
Right.
It's not a good move.
And it's nothing, like you said, it's nothing personal.
Oh,
like, listen,
never.
It goes back to you saying, my word is my word. I've made a commitment to 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yes.
And I'm not going to flip that. Even if, could be, who's the biggest actor at the moment? For lack of a better, let's just call Leo. Let's call Leo. Let's call Leo. Leonardo DiCaprio. If Leo DiCaprio came to you and said, hey, I want to star in a film. Like, listen, Leo, I see your resume. I get it. But the best you're going to be is a 5th because I've made a word.
What's this?
To 1, 2, 3,
well,
4.
Maybe I'll go off my word on that. But let's be honest now.
But you know what?
My budget goes from $100 a person to $1 million a person.
Yeah, but see, the thing is there. It's also who you're working with as well, because the 1, 2, 3, 4 might say, you know what? Maybe if Leo comes in and I give up my role and I go to a secondary role, we can get more exposure and that can jumpstart my career. Well, but that's not the decision you make. That's the decision to 1, 2, 3, or 4. If the 1 says, no, I'm the 1, I'm better than Leo. Like,
agreed.
Okay, fine. You're going to stay there.
Somebody once asked me
my own film. But it's not your decision. It's their decision.
A production company once said to me, they go, let's use an example. You're playing the lead of your own film that you're directing. I said, yes. Let's say we got Leonardo DiCaprio. I go, Leonardo DiCaprio's the lead. I'm a second. They go, we get Mark Wahlberg. I go to a third. They go, really? You'll do that? Yes, I will. Because I'm not a fool.
Right.
They are so great that me being a third with those 2 heavy hitters, you know how great I will play out?
I call that the Tom Brady effect.
That's the actor or actress's decision. They should. If you're an up-and-coming actress and somebody comes in, or actor, and somebody comes in, says, I'm going to play the lead role, and you're going to bump to second, you should realize what kind of
opportunity
springboard that is going to do for your career. That's a huge opportunity.
Huge.
Even if you're playing 4th, 5th next to, just to have your name on the same screen as somebody well-established like that, they should make that decision. And then it goes back to, okay, let's say they go, no, nope, not doing it. Now it goes back, okay, I see what type of person this
now you're not getting the
person
next one.
is. So now after this film's done, and I go on to another film, I'm gonna get the Leo,
That's
and you're not even gonna get the Tom.
It's the Tom Brady effect. Tom Brady is the best quarterback of all time, right? Boston Patriot. Right. I'm a Jet fan.
He's best of all time.
Best
of all time.
There's no arguing that.
I always thought if I was in position, I would do exactly him. I know I'm the best, I can get paid the most.
Correct.
But I want to win championships. That's what we like to see. So I'll take a less pay cut and bring in the big guns so I can throw them and make me better. Tom Brady effect.
Winners surround themselves with winners.
You don't see other people do that. Many athletes do that.
You're right.
Look at what happens.
That becomes self-absorbed. It's about one and one only. And that's what becomes one and done. My company is No Curfew Productions, right? So my first full feature I just wrapped up is a film called Judge No Book. And we could get into that. But using an example about all the team that I had put, from your PAs to your camera crews to your assistant, your first ADs, to all G&E, to every actor from start to finish, A to Z, Z to A. I had about 85 people on the whole production. 5 or 6, they disappointed me. Is that a great ratio? Fantastic. 5 or 6 out of 85?
Yeah.
Take some of that coffee.
But watch.
Just let me take some of that.
Sorry, my bad.
The 5 or 6, I don't take it personal. You made your mistake. You made your decision.
That's a numbers
You deal with it. And you're a one and done as far as I'm concerned.
I feel like you have to, I don't want to cut you off, but I feel like you have to almost account for that.
Yeah.
Like, listen, I'm going to have 100 people. 10 of them are probably going to be no good.
Right.
And it's like the yield of production, right? 10 of them are probably not going to be that good. Just
Absolutely
accept it.
Right.
But if I can get 90 good ones, it's fantastic.
You want energy right on the set. You want from hair, makeup, wardrobe. You want everybody. First AD, second AD, the entire camera crew, the assistant cameras, everybody with good energy.
And everybody plays an important role.
Oh.
People don't realize that just because you're not on screen,
That's right.
doesn't mean that you're not a super significant part of making the movie.
Huge part.
The lighting people.
Huge.
If you don't have any lighting people, that movie's, the color grading is going to suck.
My lighting was amazing.
It's going to be terrible.
My camera crews were amazing. Everybody.
Sound guys.
Sound guy, listen.
Do you know how, coming from podcasters,
Okay.
do you know how difficult it is to get good sound without having a microphone shoved in your face?
That's right.
It's great. It's easy to get good sound when I got a microphone right here in front of my mouth. But when I have to film and you have to have a boom mic, you have to have one up here, you have to one on the side, you have to have a shotgun right at
3 tracks,
and you have to,
right.
and you have to have the shotgun and you got to stay with the person and make
That's right.
You know how difficult it is to get the good sound?
And do you know what, speaking of our sound guy, because it's the same sound guy on Gravesend, Waleed. So shout out to Waleed, our sound guy.
Waleed?
Not Waleed.
I got a friend, Waleed. I wonder if it's the
and
same
it's
guy.
not to not shout everybody out because I'd be here for a day shooting everybody's names out, but we were just talking about sound. When we just shot the 2 days, when I got my hard drives back, and this was the last 2 days to shoot.
1 terabyte of data.
Oh my God.
Probably
I went
more.
out of my mind trying to figure out, ready for this? Trying to figure out how to sync everything up. Ready for this? Never name names. Call up one person. Right away, their answer is, well, you don't have really any money in the budget, so I really don't know. Go online. Okay. But you got paid for all the 17 days we did film. But now, when I needed help...
This is the sound...
No, not my sound guy.
Okay,
no.
Okay.
The sound guy is as ace as could be. He'll be with me as long as he's available every film I do.
But this guy isn't... He got paid already, but now he's off the
now
clock.
I call them paycheck players. Now you start learning, and you go, oh, now I call my sound guy up. Nobody does? Chris, give me 5 minutes.
Let me help you.
Give me 5 minutes. I'm going to call you off a set. FaceTimes me, lines it up. He goes, do this, do that, do this. Now you know the syncing process.
And it took 5 minutes.
No, watch. It took hours, but now I learned what to do. Mm-hmm. So now I'm syncing it up line by line. I go, okay, yeah. It took a bunch of hours, but
it took him 5 minutes to explain
tell
it to
me.
you. Yeah.
So watch. Here's a situation. No naming names. That one group that I asked, one person I asked, will never be back.
Exactly.
Nothing personal.
Yeah.
I gave you my word you were going to be my guy, and you were.
And if someone from another film calls you up and say, hey, I heard about so-and-so. Are they...
And I'll do this. Watch this.
Like, listen.
I'll do this. And it has happened. And I still won't do that. I'll just go, it's something you need to figure out on your own after you do your first introduction.
Yeah.
It's either you feel it or you don't. Because work is one thing, but energy and attitude is another. And if you have bad energy and bad attitude, I don't want you around.
So true.
Yeah, I would do in a scenario like that is I would say, I can only tell you my experience. I can't tell you anybody else's. Said if you ask for what my experience was like with such and such, I will tell you. I'll be honest with you.
You're right.
I'm not going to bet and say that they won't work for you, but I could say, with my experience, this is what happened. And then you could take that information. If you think it's okay, then great. If you think that experience is not going to be good for you,
it's
then
on you.
It's on you. But I'll tell you my honest opinion, and that's that.
And that's why this business is a very small business. It's a small world, because energy, attitude goes a lot. And I've had people that I've given jobs to, right? Paying jobs. I could show you on my phone a list of people that said, I will work for free. And my answer is always, you're never working for free.
Yeah, if you're working, I will pay you.
You will be paid. But I will not forget what you just said. Because when I first started out, my first role, I had no clue what I was making on my first role. I got casted in a show called Lilyhammer on Netflix.
Yeah.
Steve Van Zandt. I get the job. I go down to the set. I have no idea.
How long ago was that?
Is that still on Netflix?
It's on Netflix. It's the first. You know what the best part about Lilyhammer is? It's the very first. It's the first Netflix original series.
I've always seen it.
When Netflix wasn't even Netflix. What the hell was Netflix?
Yeah.
Steve Van Zandt. I'm in season 2. Steve Van Zandt, when he was selling the project to his investors, he said, we're going to go on a network called Netflix. And everybody said, what the hell is Netflix?
Is that when Netflix was back when it was the DVD stuff?
Honestly, I don't even know.
Was it a little bit after that?
I think
Netflix started with the DVD.
Okay.
But I remember Lilyhammer on Netflix because I'm like,
first original Netflix series.
I was like, that looks like Silvio from Sopranos, and I watched it. I'm like, holy shit, this is a show.
When I got the audition, here's how I got the audition. Somebody saw me do my very first scene that the New York Film Academy had. Somebody from the Film Academy had taken the video. He says, I like you. I want to film something with you. You write out a scene. You bring a couple of actors and you do the scene, and I'm gonna film it and edit it.
So they asked you to just just like a short scene,
3-minute scene.
3-minute scene. You write it. It's got to have beginning, ending, in the middle, some sort of plot.
Just a scene. I'm gonna write it. We'll film it and edit it for you because I want to see how you look when you're.
And who is this that asked for that?
This is the New York Film Academy, New York City.
Film Academy. Okay.
So now we go do it. All right, we film it. They build the set in the Film Academy inside. They build the set. I was very, very impressed because I had no idea that sunlight is really two doors put together and you got a spotlight coming in.
Yeah, it's not actual sunlight.
Snow is sugar.
Yeah, I never knew
it's a fake
things.
door with a light behind it.
That's right.
And that's sunlight.
That's sunlight.
And that's how they can do those. You ever see like when they do those fast ones where it changes from like day to night?
Yes.
It's literally just the color on the camera.
That's right. And I never knew any of this. And when we did it, there was a woman, her name is Eve Battaglia. I always tell this. Eve sends me an email and says, Chris, I saw that thing that you did in the Film Academy. I want you to audition for Lilyhammer. I thought it was a joke. But we need it now.
What the heck is Lilyhammer?
And when was this? What year was this?
This was 2013.
Oh, wow. Yeah, okay.
So now, 13 comes, I send all 4, I have 4 talking parts. So I do that. My daughter at the time, she's 12. She videos it me, she cuts it up, and she sends it in. They go, congrats, you just got booked. I don't even know what the hell that means.
Booked for what?
Right?
Just wrote.
I don't know what I got, but I got something.
What does that mean?
I'm booked for something.
Lilyhammer. What the hell is Lilyhammer? Now I go on Netflix. I'm going to be on this show. Because remember, I never auditioned in my life.
How did you get... Let me take it back real quick. I know you're in the middle of the story, but how did you even get to acting? Like, I knew you used to be in sales.
Yeah.
You went away for a little bit.
I was away. So
what? How?
When I was away, I was in prison for a handful of years. So when I was there, people used to sit there. I got along with everyone. When I say I get along with everyone, I don't care what color you are, what nationality you are. I get along with everybody. So one day, one of the CEOs goes, I don't know about you, Mormando. You got too many friends on these compounds. Everybody goes to you. No, I'm not playing the game. I ain't no guy on the street. I'm just a guy doing his time.
Yeah, I'm going to do my time and again.
And I don't play the game like, I did my time. No. You committed crime, you go do your time. Yeah. That's it.
I did something I wasn't supposed to.
You pay for it.
I went away. I paid for it.
And I taught my daughters that my whole life. You see? You can't just get out of things. So when I was in there, they used to go, yeah, there he is. We got ourselves the Academy Award winner. He doesn't know anything. So we used to joke. then, as you see on my Instagram, I always do impersonations.
Yeah.
I'm always doing my Scarface.
Fuck Espero Gomez.
Yes. And fuck it. That's right.
I like the video. I like the video of you cooking and you go through all the different music.
My daughter.
Oh, yeah.
It goes from Van Halen to Frank Sinatra,
Tupac,
Motley Crue,
to DMX and X.
Love that.
Throw up the X, DMX. I mean, and Pac. I mean, he's my brother.
Listen, so I was at the record store. It was either between that album or the DMX album. It was with his first popular one with "Party Up" on it. What is that? I was in between. Well,
you know what you could have gone with? You could have gone with Jay-Z's Blueprint album.
The record store I went to, I said,
Blueprint,
I went to the record store.
Pac and X.
Well, I know
is my two.
Well, Nas is my favorite.
Oh, I love Nas too.
I watched the Growing Up Italian podcast, and you said Nas and Jay-Z is Nazi.
Yeah, Nazi. Because you go Tupac and Biggie, and everybody's going, but you're from Boogie's, right? Yeah, slow down. I am Pac. Pac's verses. Pac's his emotion, his raw emotion, his feel of what he says to me is more relatable. Biggie, there's nothing to put Biggie. You can't say Biggie's not great. Biggie's a legend. There's no buts. When I talk about Pac, it's the, every song that he sings, it's just like there's a song, When We Ride. All right, When We Ride. And he giggles, and he's like, ha, 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 my adversaries crumble when we rumble. It's a catastrophe event. He just starts flowing. That's one of my favorites. I got the chill. One of my favorite openings, and not many people even know the song When We Ride. But that opening lines is so powerful that I just flow with it.
Yeah.
And it's just the way he speaks it. People in the industry has asked. Remember, I'm close with the 50 Cents and Fat Joe's and all that. And they know, and Fat Joe, you give him one song on Fat Joe, My Lifestyle.
Oh, my God.
Y'all wanna live my lifestyle.
That was one of my eighth grade anthems.
Never seen a crack house. Want a wall with the dawn, have your max out. See it on out, bring it on, and I'm going to show you gangster. Because he's saying, y'all want to live my lifestyle, but you never even seen a crack house or a brick, but you want to play the game.
Yeah.
He's letting you know up front. When you look at 50, Get Rich or Die Trying. I was with 50 the other night, and we're chopping it up about a new thing, and I'm with the show for ABC for Life, and I'm with Nicholas, and the three of us are just chopping it up, and Nicholas even says, he goes, you got your superstar right here, and I'm velour sweatsuit out in this private event, right? And he goes, no, I know OG when I know OG. So we're talking, he's telling me about a different project, whatever the case, and it was actually for the first time that I actually was like, damn, 50, and I never get starstruck. And it's not a starstruck, it was more of a flattery. Because he's locking eyes and he's telling me the new thing. And he's like, and you have to understand, he's getting so excited. And I'm like, I actually at one point just stared through him. Like he's talking, I don't hear a word. And I'm not.
You're like, is this my life right now?
That's okay. So Justin, that's perfectly.
And you have a good story with 50 Cent from on the show. I listened to it on the podcast on the bus, right?
But no, to go from.
You gotta hear the story. It's a great story.
To go from like you said, because you're sitting there looking, and you're looking through them, and you're probably just thinking, shit. 15 years ago, I was in prison. And here I'm talking with 50 Cent, and he's wants me on his show. Like, is this pinch me? Is this
so
real?
have a great energy moment. First night in prison, I'm on the third level bunk. I'm closer to the ceiling than I am now. So the ceiling is right here. I'm on the third bunk.
So you mean like bottom bed, middle,
2, 3.
Okay.
I'm freezing. I have a hat on, a jacket on. I'm freezing. The ceiling is almost by my nose, and I'll never forget this. I start laughing. I go, oh man, this is really gonna suck. That was first night in prison, and I'm not making a joke about prison. I'm saying my first night, what I did. I started to laugh, probably out of being delirious, I go, 57. I had 57 months. I go, 57 months. Take off 6 months for good time. 6 months for, I go, still got to do 4 years. I go, oh, this is going to suck. My first night. I have 2 little baby girls. I want them to be in my arms. Not there, but I want them to be in my arms. I'm like, oh my God, this is going to suck. And I go, how the F am I going to get through this? Like anything else, I'm spiritual. I didn't find God in jail. I've always had God. So I am spiritual. So I go, but you'll get me through it. I know. I gotta prove to you that whatever comes my way, I'm going to take it on and I'm going to believe you got me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the way I live my entire life. I've always lived like that. And I've went through adversity since I'm a child. I mean, I'm a product of divorced parents. I'm the product of me being divorced when I was in prison and breaking up my own family and not having my daughters ever live with me. That is the thing that could bring a tear right now as I'm speaking, because those are the things that hurt more than anything. But see, you committed a crime, so you can't blame anyone but yourself. You knew what you were doing. You knew what you were doing. And when you do something, especially knowing, you got to accept the consequences.
Accept the consequences.
That's right.
Getting out of it. I've always been a believer that God gives his toughest battles to his strongest warriors.
Amen.
And
so you got me.
I've talked to my wife and I are both spiritual as well. We both Christian, believe in the good man upstairs. Amen. And we always say that you are never excused from the consequences of your actions.
That's right.
And we feel that we've come into a day and age where there's a lot of that entitlement where they feel like they can do something and they're excused from actions. And whatever the action is, okay, if you decide that you want to eat a box of Oreos every single day,
you know the
consequence of that action is diabetes.
That's right.
You are not excused from gaining weight and having diabetes by eating 3 pounds of sugar every day.
That's right.
Okay, you are not if you put in the work, the consequence of you putting in the work is success.
Yeah.
If you don't put in the work, the consequence of not putting in the work is no success.
Yeah.
You're not excused from the actions.
Absolutely right.
From the consequences of your actions. So, like
so
you had
true.
said, listen, you do something good, you do something bad. You have to suffer the consequences. That's right. Okay, that's how life goes.
Part of it. That's part of it.
What was that? What was the last day of being in jail and getting out and knowing you're going? Like, what was that feeling?
So
like?
there comes.
Yeah, we're on a way tangent. We got to go back in circle. But yes,
so
this is what it's all about.
This is absolutely we're rock and roll.
This is good because it's going to lead back into the question of how'd you get into acting.
Yeah.
So this is the last day. So the night before, I'm doing 5,000 push-ups because I'm energy bound and I got to burn off energy. No way I'm going to sleep. So
did you work out a lot when you were in prison?
The only time I ever worked out in my life was in prison.
There's literally nothing else to do.
Nothing else. Walk. I don't read. I'm not into the reading game. So I didn't read. I just worked out. Had a few good guys I stayed with, and that was my bid. That was how I did my sentence. So the last day, I know at the time I was married, and I knew my daughters were coming up with my ex-wife. And we broke up when I was in prison, so I already knew coming home that I was going to be doing my own thing, and I came home broke. See, a lot of people don't know that or don't understand it, or yet, I should say, don't believe it. Oh, this guy was rolling in the day. Okay, but you don't work for 5 years. You have bills that don't go away. Mm-hmm. You have children. You have family value. Your family obligations. You have mortgages. You have rents. You have this. When you don't work for 5 years, how much money do you think you really have to last you? You don't.
Nothing.
I always say in every podcast, I do have the best friends a man could ask for. Because my friends that were home, I had a lot of my really close friends that were also away at the same time. But if they were home, they would have done exactly what the other friends did. They went and visited my children. They went and bought them gifts. They went and gave money. They did a lot. So I'll always say I have the best friends a man could ask for. I am the same type of friend. No real close friend of mine ever needs to ask if I know they're hurting. And if they're hurting, forget financially. Let's put finance aside. If they're hurting other ways, I'm the friend that will say, hey, I'm going to pick you up. We're going for lunch. Because you know it. You know who your real friends are. You know who the ones that are hurting are. When that last day came, I had a limo pick me up. Right? My friend goes, I got you for the limo. So to get the limo comes
Everybody
up.
Else in Brill's like, who the fuck is that?
That's the Academy Award winner.
As I'm leaving, though, I'm giving the hugs. There becomes a sense of, you do get a little sadness. Sounds crazy, right? How could you be sad? You're going home. I didn't say I'm sad going home. I'm sad leaving the guys that were with me every single day, morning, noon, and night. So there is that sense of sadness there. because you know now you're not going to see them for a while. And even when they come home, you're not going to see them because nobody lives that close and nobody lives that accessible, and you're on parole. So you're not allowed to be with each other.
True.
So you have years that you can't go without seeing each other. So those are the things. But the feeling is as great as it is, and then you get that scared, a little scared. Hey, what do I do now?
So
what am I going to do now?
Day.
Yeah.
And what do I do now? Now there is no more, all right, well, I can't do anything. I'm stuck here in prison. Well, now you're home. Now what are you going to do? Who's going to give you a job? And what job are you going to do? And that's where...
At that point, you're probably just, I'll take anything.
Yes.
Anything.
But I'll tell you, my brother, my oldest brother, comes up on a visit, maybe, he came up all the time, but like, let's say a month before I was coming home, he goes, all right, what are you going to do when you come home? I know you're not going to go backwards. I know that. I go, no, I'm not, never going to do that. It's not going to happen. I go, I got to get home. I got to get situated for the girls. You know, my daughters, even though I'm not with their mother, I still got to take care of business. No matter what, it's my daughters I take care of. So if it means giving money to my ex, which is what you're supposed to do anyway, is you got to make sure they're okay. All right. But I got to figure out. I said, but you know what I want to do? I'm going to do what I always wanted to do. He's like, what? I go, I'm going to be an actor. So my brother's first thing, that's fucking great. So what are you going to do? You're gonna go home, go to school for it? I go, school? I hate school. I can't even spell school, let alone go to school. He goes, well, you're going to take classes for it. I go, no classes. I don't need a class. He goes, how are you going to do it then?
I'm just going to do it.
And I said, John, your younger brother, you don't know him by now. I go, I don't want to have to get mad at you for that, but I'll figure it out. Now I get home. I get myself situated at work. I'm back in telecommunications, back on the phone selling minutes and all that. And I'm back into my realm, but it's not what I want to do.
Yeah.
It's harder and harder. I don't want to be on the phones.
Yeah, it was a means to an end at that point.
Yes, it was. And then I said to somebody very, very, very dear to this day, he's a brother of mine. And I said, all right, like a movie, you're going to have to hook me up with somebody. I don't know how you're going to do it, but you'll figure it out. Where my closest friend can't say no to me. And I go, you're going to have to figure out where and who I have to talk to in this film business to get them just to hear me.
Just give me a name.
That's all I needed.
Just give me a name.
He goes, all right, give me a couple of weeks. I'll figure it out. Mind you, he's not in this business.
I was gonna say, yeah, exactly. You'll listen.
But he's my
I don't care what you
friend,
got.
and he's a very resourceful
Give me
friend.
a name and a number.
So he goes like this. A day later, he goes, take this number down and a name. Call this guy. I call him. That was the guy from the Film Academy.
Wow.
Met him for lunch. The guy goes, I want to film you. From there, filmed. From there, I get Lilyhammer. From Lilyhammer.
When did you get out?
I got out in 2005.
Okay.
But in 2008, I was off of parole.
Gotcha.
So 2008, remember, 2005 to 2008, you're home now. Now I can't be around you. I could be around you. But if you're in the room, I got to leave. It becomes very, very hard.
So I imagine from because when did that Film Academy happen?
And that was, ready for this? That happened after 2008 was when now I was off parole. Now I'm able to be around
now
and
you're
about.
like a free man again.
Came around, and that was around 2000. It wasn't until a few years later. It was because I still had to get situated work-wise.
Sure.
So remember, I didn't.
You still got to pay your bills.
That's right.
Like, listen, I got
so
to live.
it wasn't until like 2011, 2012.
So I imagine from 05 to 08, right? You're still on parole.
That's
then
right.
08 to to 2011, 2012. Those 6 years, I imagine. So you go from prison. You were in prison for what? 4 years?
It was 4 years total.
4 years total.
It was a little on the 5-year sentence though.
And you get into like this routine. You had mentioned, okay, you get a little bit of sad when you're leaving because now it's you develop this routine, and routine makes the time go, and you just get locked into this routine, and we're creatures of habit, right? And you get so zoned in, and this is my routine, right?
Yes,
you have a daily
absolutely.
routine. So now you're out, and you go, that routine just gets broken immediately, and you go, I gotta find another routine, because if you don't find a routine, right? We've said it before on the podcast that bad habits form in the empty spaces on your calendar.
Absolutely.
So if you don't have stuff scheduled in, if you don't have a routine that you're going through.
It reminds me of the Shawshank Redemption.
Okay.
Yes.
When the one guy gets home from jail. Yeah, Brooks. He doesn't know what to do.
He doesn't know what to do.
He just hangs himself because he's like.
Now, granted, he was in for like.
He was institutionalized.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
he was
on a smaller scale, but
Yes.
same
Yes.
concept.
You're right. It's just a difference. Meaning, I never say jail was hard. I never say it was easy. I say, well, if you had kids and I had kids and you didn't have kids, doesn't make it easy for you. It just makes it a little easier. Because you don't have children saying, Dad, why are you not coming home? Do you not love me?
It's a little bit.
That's a bolt in the heart itself.
I imagine that physically, you're all there, and you're all going through the same boring, monotonous routine. But emotionally, it withers away a little bit more on somebody who has a family outside versus somebody who's a loner and doesn't have a family. But granted. It could flip the other way.
I was just about to say that.
Because
you're right.
If you have somebody outside, you're like, I have to get through this because I'm always looking forward to listen. When I get out, I'm looking forward to seeing them. Versus somebody who doesn't have anybody, they go, well, I don't want to get. I just want to. And then I guarantee you, some people that when they get out, they want to go back in. Because
so we had guys that the week before they were leaving.
Really fucks with your brain when you think
the week before they were leaving, I see one of the guys, and he was a Spanish guy. He's his own. He's a gang member, and he's like, Chris, boy, I got to talk to you, man. So I'm like, what's up? And he's like, I don't want to go home. So he was down for 11 years. And I said to him, I said, brother, what do you mean you don't want to go home? He goes, I have nothing to go home to. He goes, I don't have nothing. Forget about money. I don't even have family. And I go, you do have family.
I know exactly what
Don't you say that. I know you have family. You have a visit? Did you get a visit last month? That's family. Don't have to be the blood in your veins. That's your family. He goes, but I don't know what to do when I get home. He wanted to commit a crime in jail.
So he can stay longer.
For them. So you remember in the Brooks, he was putting the knife to...
Yeah.
It sounds crazy. He wasn't looking to do that. But he wanted to eliminate his good time by getting in trouble doing something. And I sat with him for 2 straight nights because we were one over. And I go, brother, listen to me. You're going to get your mind right. You're going home. You didn't even have a chance to see what the fuck you're going to do when you get home, let alone being negative already. He goes, as long as I know you, as long as we did time together, you always have a smile on your face. Yes. Doesn't mean I'm not sad. But I always know that I have an opportunity to make things better.
Yes.
The way you're going to make things better.
Yes.
Don't you ever underestimate yourself.
Yes.
Your mother and father, your mother, father, my mother, nobody knows our true talents. Not one of them. They could say what they want. No offense to all the parents. But no one knows your true talent better than you.
True.
No one. Not even a parent. You know why? Because how about the parents of the big-time geniuses that became the inventors of things that became multi-billionaire type of things? You know what any parent would have said? Stop that talk. It's foolish talk.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
But that means you never really knew what your son or daughter was even capable of.
They'll always say it seems impossible until somebody does it.
Until somebody does it. And it's only something bad. Or it's only something foolish when it doesn't work.
Yeah, like look at the Wright brothers. You know how crazy it was for people to say, you're going to do what? You're going to build a machine and fly through the air? That's impossible. Nobody...
How are you going to go up?
Happen.
Well, Howard Schultz from Starbucks got denied from 72 different banks, and you make a coffee company that does what?
Nobody's going to pay that amount for coffee.
No one's going to
never.
So
can't happen.
We're paying $6.
Yeah,
we're paying $6.
And I do it sometimes twice a day.
So I can imagine, like, to go back to you saying that the person that doesn't want to leave goes, I don't have any family.
Yeah.
You can say, not yet.
That's right.
Not
They'll
yet.
build.
But
Amen.
go out and build a family, right? Because you had said nobody knows nobody knows your talents as better as you do, as best as you do.
Yes.
Except for the good Lord upstairs.
Absolutely.
Okay?
That's
and
what
He's got a plan for you. Now go out and make a family. Create a family. Try to use whatever time you have left on this earth.
That's right.
Making it better for other people. Build a family, right? Because you can say you don't have anybody right now. But what about 5 years from now when you meet your beautiful wife and you have a beautiful baby boy or baby girl? You have a family.
Look at my wife now. This is, again, when I met her, I went through a divorce, lost my family when I was in prison. Not crying about it, just fact. My daughters never lived with me. My one daughter, just her and I, she's a nurse. My other daughter's a speech therapist. They are amazing. I used to tell them, we was talking yesterday, me and my youngest daughter yesterday, who's a nurse. She goes, Dad, I really wish, because she knew I didn't live with my father. My father and mother broke up when I was young. I go, the biggest thing that always killed me was I never had my children live with me. And that is a killer. Because I used to want them to stay with me all the time. Even now, they're on their own, but I'm like, stay over.
Yeah.
I'll cook you breakfast. I'll do that. And they're like, Dad, I got work in the morning. And you forget now they're on. They're 25, going to be 25
Yeah,
and
you
28.
think they're like 12. They're always 12 in your mind.
So my daughter yesterday said, Dad, I wish I would have lived with you. I wish I had that with you. She goes, but you know what? And we both talk. She says, one day you have a child. I'm going to have my grandchild or my grandchildren stay with me. That'll be my makeup for it.
Yeah.
Meaning what you just said. The guy in the sky gave you what you gave you. Are you going to fall to him? Are you going to fold? Or are you going to take what you have and make it work?
Exactly.
When people, everyone says, how you doing? I jokingly say, but I mean, it's true. I always say, hey, any day above 6 feet's a good day.
Exactly.
And people laugh, and some people are like, oh, that's pretty. But I'm kind of joking to create conversation, but it's true.
It's true.
It's 100%
it's 100% true. Cause
always true.
Or like with another thing I think about is for that gentleman, say, listen. He goes, I don't know what I'm going to do. I have no idea what I'm going to do. Say, listen. All you have to worry about is make it through today.
Yeah, one day.
Just get through today. And it's the same thing. I heard somebody on Instagram, it was a reel or it was a post, whatever, and the guy was an alcoholic, and he had said, he goes, how do you think that you're ever gonna? Somebody asked me, do you ever think you're gonna have another drink, or do you ever think you're gonna relapse? Do you ever think you're gonna? He goes, I don't know. Because all I can tell you is that I'm not going to do it today.
Well, how do you
just get through one more day?
Says,
one more day. That's all you got to get through. He goes, I don't know what's going to happen 15 years from now, and if I'm going to relapse, but I can tell you right now, today I won't.
Yeah.
I'm going to get through today. So you tell this guy, listen, you may not have a family, but you'll have a future family. You may not know what to do with the rest of your life, but just get through today. Yeah. Make it through today. Do something to better yourself today.
And he did.
And keep doing that.
You still contact with him?
Yeah, every once in a while. And he did.
And where's he now?
And he's now running the entire warehouse.
There you go.
Watch this. That I once said to him, I go, you'll run the warehouse until I come and work the high-low, and I destroy everything in sight. And he goes, brother, you're welcome to come any day, any night.
100%.
Anything, jump on the high-lows, do whatever you want.
I love it.
And you see, and he says, I'll never forget the words. Now, that ain't this. That's the guy in the sky that put me there to do that.
Yeah, you're just a vessel.
That's right. Mm-hmm. And he made me. He said to that guy, you're going to call on one of my people. That's what he did. And he called on the right one.
Some people. I feel bad for people that don't realize that it's like God used you. You have no idea.
That's right.
What He's doing, and you have no idea the plan that He has, and the amount of He can use people and put people in your life just to say one little thing, or just to be there one day, right? Where somebody comes in and says, I'm thinking about offing it today, and you meet one person and says, hey, that's a great shirt you got on. You're like, and it's
means
a gesture.
so much.
And people, and then they'll go on the rest of their life and they go, you don't realize that God, that's not just this person. God did that. He said, I'm going to make this person.
You're
because
right.
You don't know what you're going to say. You were like, maybe this has an effect. Maybe it doesn't. It does. And it's not you. It's him.
It's him.
Working through you.
That's
this is what you're going to say to this person.
That's right.
And you're going to change this person's life forever.
That's right. There is an old thing. It's been, we went through it. I read it in prison. You take classes. And it's about a gesture, a word, a timing. Fast forward everything, right? Young kid in high school was getting picked on every single day, right? Picked on every single day. One day on the way home, there was a kid. He's the same kid with all his school books. And a bunch of kids knock into him and knock all the school books all over the place. One young guy walks over to him and says, can I help you? Okay, now you're going to see me get... You see... All right.
Let's get through it.
Okay.
You got it.
He drops all the books. One kid goes in and says, let me help you out. Picks them up with him. He says, come on, I'll walk you home. He walks him home. They become best of friends. Okay? They become best of friends. Fast forward years later, that young kid who was getting abused is now the valedictorian. He's up on college and he says, I had a very tough life. I had things going on that nobody even knew in my life. Until one day, God gave me my angel, who's sitting right there. He's my best friend and my brother, sitting in the front seat with my mother and father. My mother and father don't notice that the day that you met and ran into me and helped me with my books was the day I was cleaning out my locker. I was going home to kill myself.
Holy shit.
So whether that's fully a true story whether that's an individual that it actually happened to, it happens every day. Every single day.
Now, is that a true story?
I don't. If I said it was,
I'm sure it is somewhere.
Okay, it's somewhere. That's my point.
Yeah.
So if I said that individual was a 100% bona fide to that person, I don't truly know. But how many people in my life had said to me, "You don't even know what you do and what you have done for me." Okay, so I have heard that. So I get upset because I have had a person say that. And when they had said it, I cried like a baby because I was like,
it's amazing.
Thank you for that. Thank you for using me.
Yeah.
So whether you believe it or not, whatever the case may be,
I believe it 100%.
I believe it 100%. And that's what I think. And that's why given opportunities when you're doing what you love to do, film, which goes back to my favorite. Gravesend is my favorite. And we're not here to promote Gravesend. We're here because we're talking to three of us. But Gravesend, it's given another additional family. You got to be on the set to understand it. It's so a family that I was away when Will went on one of the other podcasts on the Talking Gravesend podcast, and somebody goes, "This guy really loves you the way he's talking about you." And I listened to it. I was away at this point. I was on vacation. And I hear he goes, "Chris Mormando brings something to the table that he makes everybody feel better. He makes you feel good on that set. Because when I'm there, you'll know I'm there."
Yeah.
I always sit there and go like, "This is how we do it."
So we did as soon as we started the show.
As soon as we
started the show,
you'll know I'm there. And then you see the smiles, and then you'll see exactly what and why we're there. We're not just there to work.
Yeah.
We're there to work, and I'll be prepared more than anyone.
And that's exactly the reason why, I never met you. This is the first time I actually met you in person, right? But I follow you on social media. I've seen you on the show. And like I told you earlier, usually if someone was coming 2.5 hours away from Jersey, said, "Hey, I can't make it. It's got to be early in the morning," we'd be like, "All right, let's just reschedule it." But I knew the energy. I knew your character.
And I would never bail.
And
I would never bail.
I could tell you were a real, authentic, real person. And I was like, listen,
Thank you.
We got to have him on here because it's going to be a contagious
I
energy.
never bail on anyone. When I got the call, I went, and I'll show you the text. I go, "This Thursday?" I was under the assumption that starting Monday was my first official start date. And they were like, "No, we need you for Thursday." So I went, there's no way that I could come out here, go home. By the time I'll be ruined for the set, and I'll be ruined to be in acting for the film.
So now tomorrow when you crush it, we'll contribute
I'll
to
send
that.
out shout outs when I'm on that set to you guys.
And I have to say,
Burn Down Podcast, what up?
That's it.
And I have to say, again, it's first time I've met you. Right off when you got out the car, it was just. There's an aura about you.
Thank you.
And Eric had said, he goes, "Listen, this guy's going to be such a great guest. He's so energetic. He's so positive. He's spiritual." And,
amen, yes.
He loves hip-hop.
And
I can just... We didn't even go there yet.
We didn't even go there yet.
I can honestly say I feel the connection. It's like it's the first time we're talking with you. It's already been an hour, which feels like it's been 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay?
You're right.
But it's like a friendship. It's like you're a friend. You're a friend now.
And I appreciate it. It's La Familia. We say La Familia for life.
And
that's it, baby.
It goes back to, and I could speak about God all the time, and I always I try to speak a little bit on the show because I do believe in the big man upstairs, but I feel that he puts people in your life for a reason.
Always.
And I just want to say I'm glad that you're here. I'm thankful that you're here. And it's
likewise.
a wonderful friendship that we're starting.
Yes, it is.
And it's
everyone is everyone getting choked up on
all right, we're all doing this here. Big tough guy Gaetano.
I know.
Tears.
I'm starting to tear up too because it's like
the show we call Watch Gaetano Break Down. Wait, when it's like this in the Jerry Maguire movie, right? When that guy gets everybody on the show gets him to cry, and he goes, "Can I ask you a question?" He goes, "What's wrong?" And the guy goes, "You have no idea what it's like making $54 million." So it's when you ask someone questions sometimes, it could all of a sudden be such a break in the person. Just like when you ask someone, "How are you doing?" When you ask really one-on-one with somebody close to you, and you go, "Brother, I'm going to ask you a question. I want to know because I think I'm getting a bad feel of what you're going through, so I have to ask as a brother. What's going on with you? You all right?" you'll tell in the eyes. You'll know in a matter of a second. Mm-hmm. And I'm a dead giveaway with my eyes, which is why when I said to you, I got to stop and get a couple slices of pizza. Why? Almost 3 hours in a car will start on negative energy. I don't want negative energy. I'm here. So last thing I want to do is be like, well, acting is fun.
Yeah, you got to break the negative energy right off the bat. You got to break
get
it.
a couple pieces of pizza.
Yeah.
Little.
Speaking of which, did you go right here to that?
Yeah. I went. I didn't see this one. I went to when I get off the exit, Mr. Pizza. I think it was.
Oh yeah.
So it was right over there. So I thought that's the one you meant.
No, literally right across.
I saw it when I was pulling in.
It's a good spot.
But it was just to the point of getting energized, and that's why when you said, "You go, brother," I was gargling with my Listerine. I gotta freshen up. I got to get.
I asked him. I said, "Hey, you want to park in the driveway?"
I'm like, oh.
Yo, you want to park in the driveway? And he comes out. I'm like, this guy ignoring me?
I got to get the palate clean. I got to get it nice, relax, freshen up.
So I want to ask about. So you have your own project,
yes,
coming out. That's kind of like almost based on your real life.
Okay, there is truth to it.
Yeah,
there's
loosely
truth.
based.
Yes.
So tell us about this.
Okay, so it's called Judge No Book. It started out saying Judge No Book by its color, not cover, color.
Okay.
I cut it down to Judge No Book because of someone dear said, I love the sound of just cutting it shorter. And I love the way it is. So Judge No Book is don't judge this Italian by thinking he only stays with Italians. So give you a backstory is in the film, the main character is a single guy, is an only child. I'm not an only child. I have 2 brothers and a sister. In the film, the father is murdered and there's no secret about it, but the father is become his angel. So it gives a spiritual side to it. And my father was not killed, but my uncle was killed. So there is a sense of that in our family. And my cousin, who is his son, he's an only child. So was it about him? No. It's just about my writing skill and where I feel a film could go. When this film is done...
You're shooting it now?
We shot it all.
It's all done. Shot it all.
That's what I do every day is I cut and edit. When this film is done, I promise you, you're going to not like it, you'll love it. And I'm not just promoting it to sound good. I have people that I've said, tell me what you think. If I would show you and hear what they said about, brother, I fucking love this. Because it's not a mob film. It's got a mob element. It's a mob genre. It's a street genre. It's got spiritual. It's got... Did this really happen? Is it not really happening? When you watch a movie called It's a Wonderful Life.
Love that.
Okay.
Christmas movie.
It's
you know what's funny is it's actually not a Christmas movie.
It's not a Christmas movie. I watch it all year long.
It's not a Christmas movie.
It's always on during Christmas
so all the viewers, whoever knows It's a Wonderful Life, what does he do after the angel proves to him what a blessing his life was? He says, please God, let me live again. Mm-hmm. Right? He's been granted something that in the film that you don't know what to believe. Now, George, Bert, you know me? He knows him. He's living again.
Yeah.
Was he delusional? Was he drunk? Was he
Doesn't
crazy?
Matter. Doesn't matter.
Now he goes back, and after all said and done, and it proves that he's the richest man in the town, what does he hear? The bell. Look, Daddy, teacher says when a bell rings, an angel earns his wings. And what does he do? That boy Clarence, he opens up the book, and it says, no man is a failure who has friends. Now it became real again. That feel just gave me my chill.
Love it.
When you see this film, you're going to have chills throughout the entire film.
When is it coming out?
Well...
Or when is it supposed to come out? When is it slated to come out?
That's what it is. We just shot the last 2 days a few weeks ago, and I already cut about an hour and 17 minutes, so we're close. Now, what I'll do is...
Just so people understand, when you film...
Yeah.
How many hours, let's say before it's cut down, is it like a 4-hour film?
It'll be an hour and 40-minute cut.
So before it's cut, you say you cut down an hour and a half. So before it's cut, the uncut,
all the raw footage.
Raw footage? You have 17 days.
17 days.
You have probably 100 and something hours.
And then you have like the first, the first raw.
First rough cut.
Okay, is what, 4 hours?
The lock in. It's about 2.5.
And then you
got to cut it.
And this is your first film.
You wrote it.
You wrote it years ago, right?
I wrote it 12 years ago before I ever got into acting. I wasn't ready to do it then. Now you got to go on Timing of the Guy in the Sky. I wasn't ready to do it. Now, not only did I write it, I directed it. Now, show you about how people view you as an actor, now going to be a director. Well, there were actors that are names, never named the names, that have told me, Chris, I'll tell you the truth, I worked with you. I know you're on point, but for you to direct, no, it's not for me, it's for you to direct. Okay. Now I get the ones that do join and take my guidance. And let me tell you something, I fucking crushed it as director.
See,
crushed it.
It's funny when everybody, I always say, when somebody else says something like that, they go, all right, you know what, I'll be honest with you, I don't think that this is the right thing for you. Great, that's your opinion.
That's right. That's all
it's
it
not
is.
mine.
That's all it is.
I
was never giving it up.
Appreciate your opinion, but that's not what I think of myself.
In one ear,
exactly.
out the other.
And you never forget.
True.
So when you use that, it fuels your fire. And then it says is, I'm going to keep my vision. I'm going to keep this vision so strong because I know when I watch a film, I know bad, I know good, I know horrible, I know great. So when I'm watching, I'm cutting. So I'll know a bad cut to a great cut to a good cut to a horrible cut. I'll know them all. I'll make sure. Now you want to talk about, I'll shout him out right now. In the edit room, when I was starting editing, I have a young kid. Okay, his name is Colin Hayward.
It sounds familiar, Colin Hayward.
Watch this.
I don't know why.
Graduated. I meet him at my house block party. Didn't know who he was. Bunch of kids go, hey, Chris boy. So I go, hey, fellas. I'm like, I don't know these kids. Why am I forgetting? They're like, no, we follow you on Instagram. So we're a fan of you. So I'm like, oh, shit, come on, have a beer at the house, right? All drinking. All of a sudden, they go, what do you do? He goes, one kid goes, I just graduated from editing school. I go, let me ask you something.
I like that.
I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to just see what his answer is. If I told you I have no budget for editing right now, but I would bring you in as an editor to a full feature film, but I can't pay you right now, what is your answer to that? I mean, I don't blame you. He goes this. He goes, tell me when and where, and I'm there.
Hell yeah. That's the right answer.
Do you know not one time this kid has ever not showed up? Not once. He was at my house yesterday. He's waiting on me to come home tonight, so he'll come over and cut more of the film. This, I call everybody a kid. He's still a kid to me. He's a young kid. This kid has got more desire, more passion than a lot of people I've ever known. And this kid will go when Judge No Book and No Curfew Productions grows. Who do you think I'm taking with first?
Yep, I was just going to say.
That kid will be with me as long as he wants to. And that kid will get paid. He will get paid heavily. And the bigger my budget goes, the bigger he goes. Why? Because he earned it.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people don't understand it. Back to Lilyhammer. I didn't know what I was making on Lilyhammer. I couldn't care less. Don't even pay me. I'll get there myself. Why? Because if I really want to do something, I got to get in the favor of somebody seeing my work first. Then you make the money. Money comes later. Mm-hmm. If nobody gives you a shot to you're doing a film, but nobody ever gives you a shot to be an actor. How are you going to be an actor? You got to have that shot. Somebody's got to give you the shot, and you better be ready.
You got to use them as stepping stones.
One step at a time.
You got to use the stepping stones.
This kid, so Colin Hayward, you know I love you, brother. I'm shouting you out. I love this kid.
I mean, it's pretty remarkable because if he's a recent college grad, you know, that generation, they don't have that work ethic.
This kid is opposite. Yeah. This kid works.
He understands delayed gratification.
Well,
that's the biggest thing.
He couldn't take the words out of my mouth. I was going to say, he understands delayed gratification. He's like, you know what? Listen. He goes, may not get paid now, may not get paid in a year from now. He goes, that's right. But eventually, he goes, it'll happen. It's the same thing like when we started this show. Go back and look. For people that are listening, people that are watching, go back, look at episode 1.
Okay.
Episode 1 sucked. It was horrible.
Okay.
Here, audio was shit. Lighting was shit. Nothing back. It was shit. Okay. And we've actually just did somebody interviewed us for a Spanish magazine, I think.
It's a cigar magazine.
They asked, they go, what are some tips you can give for podcasts? And I said, just hit record. Okay. First episode is gonna suck.
Okay.
The 10th episode is still gonna. It may not suck as, but it's still gonna suck.
Okay.
The 50th episode. Okay. This is episode 1. Okay?
Got you. I understand already.
And
now look at this.
And this is what I'm saying is when we first hit record, We had no idea. We had no flow. We had no idea where it was going to take us. We just said, this is what we want to do.
Right.
And we're going to figure out a way to make it happen. And we just kept going. I love it. Every Wednesday. Keep filming. Keep hitting record. Keep showing up. And here we are 5 years later with our own cigar, another one on the way, sitting here talking to you, having a beautiful studio, have thousands and thousands of fans.
I love this studio. I love it.
We've got to meet so many people, actors, actresses, directors, producers, athletes, singers, business moguls, ex-Navy SEALs, ex-mobsters. Like, we've met all these crazy people, and it's just because you had a vision, you had a passion, and you just stick with it. Delayed gratification. I mean, we met Ed $0.
But you guys have energy.
$0
Your energy
in the first. Just
brings
keep going.
people.
Just keep going.
If you didn't have good energy,
well, that's right.
That's what I said. The first episode,
no energy.
We didn't have the flow.
Right.
And we told another tip that we gave was, listen, just keep going, and eventually you'll find your voice.
Yes.
You'll find the flow.
Yeah.
You'll find what makes you passionate, and speak about that, because people can feel it.
Oh, absolutely.
People can hear it and see it and feel it on the other end.
And I feel it when I'm looking both of you in the eyes. You could tell, because you have the right energy, you have the right attitude, and that's a big thing. And you'll know it when it's bad. You'll know it like that when it's bad.
Exactly what you said. When you go, I can tell a bad cut. We could tell. First episode, you look at it like, wow, Eric, that was. Whenever people say, hey, when they go, what episode should I start on? I said, go to like 150. Just start on the latest, because we know first episode sucked.
I think the other thing for me,
but look where you are now.
Just keep going.
Besides energy, I also think it's just authenticity, because a lot of people make podcasts or whatever, Instagram, social media, and it's just like a facade. And they just do it to try to get views and likes.
That's it.
We're extremely authentic. We're always very honest. We always say, we don't say things just the same to make a viral clip. I mean, as you can tell, we're all getting upset on here. You can feel the authenticity in here.
In this entire episode, you can feel like
and
the
people
highs,
can hear
you can feel some of the lows. You can
feel so many emotions went through this already, and it's because
we're not even there. Not even done.
and that's the reason why you know the difference of good and bad, or real and not. Mm-hmm. You know, remember, even when you're dealing with street, when you're dealing with film, there's something that goes together. I have heard morons. I use the word morons. Say to me.
Were they morons?
Oh, they were morons. I heard them say to me, you know, I don't get beaten up, or I can't get killed in a film. I can't be looked at as a possible no good rat. I can't. Well, then you're not an actor.
Yeah.
Just then stop pretending you think you are an actor, because there are levels of acting that you say, I'm not accepting this job for this reason. I'm not accepting that job for this reason. But when you say, oh, I could never get killed, nobody would do that to me in the street. First of all, you're not in the street.
Yeah.
That's a start. You're not in the street. You're on camera. So if you really want to be a real street guy, then you're not going to be on camera. So let's define the two. If you really want to pick a life on the street, then you're not picking a life in the camera. That's the rule. Secondly, you're talking about, I don't get killed. I don't do this. I got my head blown off I don't know how many times. NBC, Blacklist, in front of millions of people. I get killed. You know how many people have commented? Madam Secretary, Blacklist, as I said, Fright Fest, this movie, Lurking Fear, which I can't stand the movie, but it's the way it is. These are the films. You do the roles to get to the next role.
Mm-hmm.
And if you really
stepping stones.
If you really want to be an actor, you need to say to yourself, stop thinking I'm a real life mobster because I'm playing a mobster. That's why I call people morons. You don't come prepared, but the first thing you do, you're on a set. Hey, what are we doing? Hey, brother, that's not what we're doing here.
Yeah.
If that's your role, then stay in character by all means.
Right. I was just gonna ask if that's the way that you need to, if that's what you need to do in order to put your best
then
work.
Do it.
Great, but when you're off the clock, like for instance, there's a scene when or a story. Samuel, I think it was Jamie Foxx.
Okay.
On Django. The Django?
Yeah.
Django?
I know that one, yeah.
So there's the story of Leonardo DiCaprio had difficulty saying the N-word.
Yes.
During the film. He goes, I can't right. say this. Like, I don't. And he says, and Samuel L. Jackson went to Leo and said, Leo, what the fuck you doing? Come on, motherfucker. This is just another Tuesday, motherfucker. Like, you know how Sam Jackson says it? He goes, come on, motherfucker. He goes, he's your property, man. He's not a real person. He's your property. This is what we do. He was the next day, Leonardo DiCaprio showed up on set, and Jamie Foxx said, what's up, fam? What's up going? Hey, what's up, Leo?
Yeah.
And goes, and Leo didn't make eye contact with me, didn't speak to me. Not one. He said, I was, as soon as he clocks in, he goes, he was in character and treated me like dirt.
Yes.
Like property.
Yeah, I know that story.
That's the film. He goes, that is the role.
Right.
You are a slave owner, and he is property, and you need to act that
like
way.
it.
And he said, and it was like a light switch.
Crazy.
And then he was saying, N-word this, N-word that, fuck you. Speaking to him as if he was property.
Because you need to get into that role and either feel it to the point of doing it, or when you're on the set. There's been times, you know what? One time they said on Gravesend, and this is the funniest part.
I might need to have another.
There's an episode, the episode 9. I start off the episode and I'm getting Benny Z is yelling at me about what's really going on, and I have to give a level of I'm sad, I'm hurt, I'm fucked up, and if you see today, I'm unshaven. I'm always shaven, but. Of course, I have to do a scene that I have to look disheveled. So hair, I'd never have hair. I grew it, but this is only 2 days. When I got the call yesterday, I was going to shave yesterday. I can't shave it. Now I'll just trim it when we're on the set tomorrow to see what and how they want it, because it could always come off, but I can't always grow it.
Right.
So when
without putting like the whole makeup,
we don't want to make it look unreal.
Make it look as real as possible.
Correct. So when I do that scene, I knew I had to feel so many different feels. That was one of the only days that I wasn't Gaetano coming in. What's up? Somebody comes up, they go, I think something's wrong with Chris. Mind you, nobody ever calls me Chris on the set. There is not one person that ever calls me Chris Boy or Chris. They call me Gaetano. Somebody goes, I think there's something wrong with Chris. So somebody goes, what do you mean? They go, he's been isolated today. He's not been talking to anyone. And I go, and all of a sudden they go, brother, you all right? And I go, yeah, I'm fine. Why? He goes, because everybody's thinking there's something wrong. I go, brother, I got to feel that feel. This is just me. So after it's all, I go, everybody, I love you. That's how much I love you. Because they were all concerned. Because it was written all over.
Yeah, no doubt.
But that's the fam that we have on Gravesend. Everyone. I love saying this. From A to Z. Everyone is amazing. You come on the set, you'll know what I mean. It's that amazing. And it starts from the tops. Because Will be the first one to tell you, hey, you know what? This one just said something really complimenting about you. A lot of people, they might be afraid to tell you that this guy just said that you are amazing. Maybe they're afraid to tell you. Maybe they don't want to tell you because they don't want to think that, oh, he or she might be better than me. This guy will tell you every time. He'll go, buddy, I'm going to tell you something, right? You got to understand it. And I'll get Armand Assante. He goes, you know, Armand Assante is your fan.
Crazy.
And you know I love look around you, Frank, right? I took a shot at you. What do you want to do over here? We got Will DeMayo, we got Eric, we got Justin. Come on.
That's fucking good.
And then you have Armand calling you up going, I'm a fan of you, right?
Success is a good shot.
Yeah, so I'm looking around you, Frank, right? What do you want to do over here? You want to put 500 guns? Come on.
Armand Assante.
Classic.
And
he's got such a distinct voice, so you can't.
And he is that's one of my all-time favorites. He knows it because when I've gotten close to him, the first time I ever talked to him and he told me that, you know what I said to him? He goes, I want to let you know something, right? I'm a big fan. So I go, I'm sorry, could you say that one more time? He goes, I'm a big fan of you. I watch all your stuff. I think you're right. So I go,
he does it well. I go really well.
I'm going to call my father because I don't know how to answer that. And he starts laughing. That is one, there's an Academy Award winner who is telling you he's a big fan. Episode 1, when we did the red carpet, we did 2 episodes, first and second. Between the first and second, we have a downtime. He goes like this, I want to tell you something. I told you, you're the next sensation. You're going to be best. I already know it. I told everybody this is the guy. And to hear that, and then being on the carpet, and another one that I'm a big fan of, which is obviously, a Bronx Tale, Chazz Palminteri. Chazz says to me, I want to let you know something. You're that fucking good. So I went, thank you. He goes, see, you're being kind and thinking like what I'm just saying is just to sound good. He tells my wife, you tell him he's that effing good. And I go, I don't know. He goes, I see it. I know it. What I know is what I know. And when you hear that and see it happening to ones that you've watched and idolized.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There is to me, I've said this a million times, there is no better film than A Bronx Tale.
One of the best.
The reason why I say no better, because the authenticity to me is perfect.
Yeah.
You don't have to yell to be heard. You even see the way Sonny was. Even when he gets into it with De Niro and he's going, I didn't give it to you. I gave it to your son. He worked for it. He's calm and cool. Even when he gets mad, he goes, hey, don't you see the way I treat that kid? I treat the kid like it's my son.
Now you can't leave.
Yeah.
Even when he does it.
That's got to be the line of that movie.
It's the best line. I don't. No one could come close to it.
The way that scene developed.
Yes,
it's a good story.
And the locking of the door and turning. Now you can't leave. The scene just goes. It goes from like here where it's cool to just.
And think about his level.
Few words, calmly said. And it just go, oh.
Did you see him get mad?
I remember watching it for the first time, and you're watching this film, right? And you see this lady, he's like, hey, get the fuck out! I'm gonna drink wherever I would. And next thing you know,
go watch the bikes.
Go watch the bikes. Now you can't leave. You go silent. And go, oh shit!
Like a pin drop.
What's gonna happen?
It might be the greatest
about
line
to go down.
Oh, I think it's top. At least it's got to be top 5.
One of the greatest lines in any movie, in any film.
Yeah.
In anything that I've ever seen, that is one of the best lines ever. The first time I ever met him, I went to his home. Funniest story is Gabriella, his daughter, who's in the show with us, she was a baby. And his son Dante was a young boy. I'm driving down his driveway, and I'm on the phone with my brother, and I go, I am in the driveway of Sonny's house. I didn't call him Chazz. Sonny. Opens the door. He's tall. He goes like this. Come here. My nose is basically in his chest. To have that, I don't know if there's only one person on the face of this earth. If my wife, if you called her up and asked her the $1 million question, Nicole, one person on the face of the earth right now that Chris wants to have dinner with, that's Larry David. That's my all-time.
Really? Okay.
Larry David is the all-time fan favorite of me.
Yeah, it's my dad's too.
Yeah.
I could recite every episode, every line of every one of his Curb Your Enthusiasm shows. When I was going down to meet Chazz, which was now, I call him Sonny, I go, I don't know how to react to this.
Yeah, you're like...
I didn't even know, like...
Do I hug him? Do I half hug him?
But here's Chazz.
Yeah.
Come here. Right?
That's
pleasure.
Like when we met
home.
When we met Ed Reed.
Oh,
so we had Ed Reed on our show. Okay?
I love Ed Reed.
Ed Reed, ball hawk, Baltimore Ravens. Okay?
Hall of Famer, the
Hall
best.
of Famer.
The best.
We had him on the show virtually, but we had him on the show. And as soon as the Zoom comes on, as soon as his face pops up, we say, hey, Ed, what's going on? Thanks for coming on the show. He goes, Eric, Justin, what's going on, guys? I'm huge fans. I watch you guys all the time.
I love it.
And I'm sitting here, and
my jaw's like,
and we kind of, we just said thank you, whatever. We kind of not brushed past it, but we moved forward. We did the whole episode. Great.
I want
episode.
a fanboy. I couldn't fanboy.
Great episode, right?
I know.
We shut down. We finished the episode. We turned the cameras off. I go.
I'm like this. I'm like this.
I know. Yeah. I go.
Let's go.
We turn the cameras off. I look at Eric and I go, did that just happen? He goes, I think it did. I said, did he just say that he was fans of us?
Isn't that great?
Nuts.
We grew up watching him on TV.
Yes.
And now he comes on the show and says, I'm big fans. I watch you guys all the time. I think your Instagram's hilarious.
And it made me, just knowing that, made me love the guy even more, because there is a sense of true human.
They're just regular
people.
They're just regular people,
and not afraid to let others know that they're fans of you and to admire your work as, of course, we all admired his.
Absolutely.
There's no better.
wild.
Him to a Ronnie Lott,
Wild.
you know, those safeties, those are the guys that you just knew as a receiver. Oh, man.
Tom Brady had
Tom
it.
Brady.
Had it on his, he said, watch out for number 12.
When a Tom Brady knows he's got to stay away, and he still finds a way.
Oh, yeah.
Ed Reed was that great that he knew still how to do. Remember, when I played, and I didn't play no heavy level, I QB. I could still flick a ball 50 yards on a dime. When I played, and you have your cornerbacks and a safety, you know the only levels of spot to get that ball in is right here. Until the safety jumps the route.
Mm-hmm.
Now what do you do?
Now you're screwed. Yeah.
So now you have to have plan A is right here to my boy. If I go like this, 180 to the 2, 180 to the 2, it means nothing. It's already, if I went this way, I'm talking to Justin. That means do that slant in. 180 to the 2, 180 to the 2, right? But when I say to the 2 means if you, my left side receiver, sees the jump, that means I want you to do a skinny post.
So I'm going
Because
over the top.
as soon as I realize I'm already in the position, so now I got to shoot over. But that disruption comes. How about when an Ed Reed could jump the route but knows he's going
and
right
he
back?
can recover.
Well, Brady would
And
always
knows
say.
exactly what you're doing.
And that's
Brady,
what made
Ed Reed would back up and face his head this way as if he's
Isn't
going
that
this way.
sick?
And he says, I know he's going to throw it. And he just turns his body around the other complete opposite way. And boom, he's right there.
Yeah. Crazy.
There's no Ed
Crazy,
Reed.
man.
So shout out Ed Reed.
Shout out
Ed Reed, baby.
So, okay. So I want to. So
ahead.
we've got Judge No Book
Okay.
finished in editing.
In edit right now.
What's the next? Do you have plans for it?
Yeah, absolutely.
What's
so,
the next stuff?
If you need extras,
Next
need extras.
one,
extras, you
listen.
need main roles, you need lead roles.
We'll do it for free.
Watch this. The next
I
one.
could be a guy in a suit smoking a stogie.
There you
right?
go. But it won't be. This one will be 2 different films now. See, now the genre will change. So now we're doing a film called Aunt Connie's. Aunt Connie's is up in the mountains. It's like an on Golden Pond with Jane Fonda, Henry Fonda, Katharine Hepburn. It's
nice.
that kind of tearjerker. It'll have a street element because the main character, Nicky, is as close as he could be with his aunt. But this aunt was one that had no children, and she raised her nephews and nieces as their own.
Mm-hmm.
And she had 7, 8, maybe even 9. But we're doing it on a 4 mode. It's 2 nephews, 2 nieces, because when you're breaking down characters now, you can't extend 9 characters to be nephews and nieces. So you break it down. But that is going to be one of the tearjerkers. That's going to be very emotional, very strong. You're going to get a sense of like, okay, I want Aunt Connie to be my Aunt Connie. And that's
going to take you on an emotional roller coaster.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Then we have The Boys of Fall. The Boys of Fall is the behind-the-scenes horror of Friday Night Lights and how Friday Night Lights really work. So take Varsity Blues.
Whoa.
Take Varsity Blues. You see Varsity Blues?
Yeah.
You remember John Voight's character?
Yeah.
Right, he was the coach. Let's just use, I'm going to give you a little preview. Okay?
The Boys of Fall.
The Boys of Fall. Now, you know the
I like that.
song by Kenny Chesney, right?
Yeah.
I smell that fresh cut grass. Back in my helmet, cleats, and shoulder pads. Standing in the huddle, listening to the call. Fans going crazy for the Boys of Fall. Now, picture you're watching on Football Montage. See, I'm getting the chills goosed. Now you're watching uptown, upstate, and rural. They didn't let just anybody in that club. Now it's fast forward. You see, it goes about in little towns like mine. That's all they got. Newspaper clippings fill the coffee shop. The old men will always think they know it all. Fans going crazy for the Boys of Fall. Now picture it's going into a little luncheonette and you see an old man, myself, and another guy. And now you start hearing the talking. And just picture Pop, the old man, going, no. When you 2 little fucks were in diapers, I brought him from USC, put him in. He was just 9 years old. I brought him here, put him in LSU. He's now a Hall of Famer. And you, Junior, while you were still in diapers like me right now, he goes, I brought this guy from this rural town, put him in a top college. He made it to the Super Bowl. He's just talking war stories. Now he says, and speaking of diapers, I got to go change mine, you little fuck. So the old man gets up. He goes into the bathroom. And what does he do? He's looking himself in the mirror, and you just see the old man. and he's changing his diaper, and you see like a dirty diaper, and he comes out. Now he looks on the wall of fame. The same way you see all this, right? He's looking at everything, and you see him as a younger man. He looks over, and he sees me and another guy, and he goes in the back. He opens up the door, closes it, locks it, and you see a young football player strapped to a friggin' chair. And all of a sudden he goes, Pop, I'm sorry, Papa. I'll start fumbling the ball. You never have to worry about it again. Starts cutting them up. It's the horror. Shit. Goes back, sits down. He's got blood on him. So he goes, so where were we? Right? Fast forward now to the very end. The door opens for the luncheonette. Little boy runs in. Oh my God, Mom, that's Pop. No. No. Come here. The mother is terrified. Come here. Let me ask you something. You want to be a superstar one day, football player? And the kid goes, more than anything, Pop. He goes, well, then maybe Pop will help you. And he shakes his hand. He looks at the mother. He goes, oh, maybe I won't. Damn. Now, put everything else in the middle. And you see how I'm never worried about giving up. If you really want to take that and run with it, be my guest. You still got to have...
So it's the horror behind...
What really takes place to get into the NFL. For college, not high school, college to the NFL. And what really takes place.
Wow.
And it gives so much... Wow. So, see, No Curfew Productions, those are the next two. The Boys of Fall. And that's the
so you have an emotional one coming, you have a horror one coming.
All different genre. Oh. You don't ever get typecasted into it because I will play either the head of the FBI, I'll play a mobster, I'll play a coach, I'll play a cop, play it all. Because there's nothing. I'm a bald-headed guy. I can get away with everything. And if you underestimate the bald-headed guys, well, that's a stupid underestimation.
No doubt.
Wow, that's a storyline I never really thought about.
There's always, when you look at like The Program, the movie with James Caan, I think it was phenomenal. Varsity Blues. These football movies are to the point of there's so much truth in it. When you watch The Wolf of Wall Street, Leonardo DiCaprio.
Great movie.
What that film didn't do, and I've been approached already to write a show. But show and funding a show is night and day to funding a full feature. A show, like, you got to tip your hat to Will DeMeo because he funds an entire season to another season. There are no cheap things in there. It's a ton of money to do that. So you have to have the right groups, and then you have to have the end user. So before I could sit there and tell you I want you to be an investor, right? How am I going to tell you to be an investor? I have to show you. Well, this is my film. I just did this. Nobody else. But my team. Without my team, I don't make a film. There are people that disappointed me. Doesn't matter. But still without them, I didn't do my film.
They're part of the film.
They're part of the film. They have been part of the film. They completed the film regardless of aftermath or even while on set. They still were a part of the film. So with that one film, Judge No Book, they will always be a part of it. Now, this is what I tell, and I've even said it to one of my editors, and I said to Colin, he goes, Chris, tell me what I could say and what I can't say. I said, no, you could say you're an editor of Judge No Book. I'm giving you that leadway. Now, I'm an old school guy. I cut off of numbers. So in one breath, watch this. Colin, I want you to cut from here to here, then cut here to here, then cut here to here. So he's working it, right? What I tell him always is this. You tell everybody you're an editor of the film, because you are. You never, ever go above and beyond and talk too high. See, it's true. You never talk too high. Because what happens is, if you want to be bold, if I turned around and said, oh, it was only me who directed, I'm not telling the truth. Because without Josh Williams, I don't direct. If you put a camera in front of me, you know what I'll say about that camera? Oh, that's a nice camera. I have no clue what camera that is. But without my director of photography, now I do know what camera is. I tell them, this is what I'm looking to capture. They then talk terms. So we do a joke on the set. I'll be like, and we'll do like a little video. I go, Josh, do me a favor. Run the Steadicam off the gimbal. I wanted to run a 7-800 on a diffuser, but don't run it on the 1200. Keep it under 11. and do a high-low resolution on it. He goes, you got it, Chris. Mind you, that means nothing.
It means literally nothing. It's gibberish.
It's gibberish. Doesn't have a clue. I have no, but we run it like that. But when I say, here's what I want, then him and my director of photography, they go, okay, so let me show you how we're going to do it. That's exactly. Or, no, that's not what I want. I don't need to catch just on you. I don't need an overshot. I already know how I'm editing it. So if I'm editing it with the three of us right here, and I want this shot with those cameras right there, I don't care about, I got to set the cameras up over here for coverage. If I like the master, if I like the shot, and this is what I want to only capture, we don't have to waste hours. I learned that through the process. I'll never redo what I had once done. If I know how I'm cutting it, and somebody says, well, you got to do it for coverage. No. You do it for coverage if I want a shot, still shot on you, or a close-up of you. If I just want this for this particular scene, I don't need close-ups.
Right, just film one shot and you.
And once I go through the playback, if I like it, I'm done. Move on. And I've learned that.
Probably saves a whole lot of time.
And money. Okay?
Yeah, every
That's a
extra
big
camera
thing.
angles, and extra person's got to operate
and
it.
hours and overtimes. And I do SAG, so I go through union. So anything overtime ups the budgets. So you learn later. And then you learn, okay, I did know what I was talking about then. But now I won't redo it again. So now when I am filming, I'll say, no, guys, we don't need that because I don't care what it says here in the script. I'm doing it because I know I'm cutting it. And that's when you grab a guy like Colin and you sit there and go, remember to make these notes. We're cutting it this way. So back to what I was saying. So I go, never overstep because watch, you may get one job. I put you as my first AD. Oh, I really directed it. Okay. Justin gives you the job. And all of a sudden, you go do the job, and he goes, that ain't what you did on the last one. So now what happens? You realize that person was making a little too much up. Mm-hmm. That's why you always say, as I do now, no way could I have directed without my team.
There's no way. Yeah, the team is no way. Everything.
No I in team.
That's
goes
right.
back to the old.
And
saying.
it's an old saying.
There's an ME in Kobe's.
And there's Kobe's. Yeah,
that's a funny story.
True.
With Kobe.
What is this called? What is this?
Oh, so the Kobe story is Shaquille O'Neal. Some of the teammates went to Shaquille O'Neal and said, "Hey, can you talk to Kobe? He's not passing the ball. Ask him to pass the ball a little bit, right?" So Shaq's like, "I'll talk to him. So Shaq goes to Kobe and says, "Hey, Kobe, there's no I in team. Why don't you pass the ball a little bit?" Kobe said, "No, but there's an ME. Go get the rebound." So Shaq goes back to his team and said, "Yeah, he's not passing.
He's not passing." Kobe was like, "It's on me.
Yeah.
There's an ME. So I'm taking the shot."
That's an exception.
That's an exception.
That's an exception to the rule.
Yeah, he's not passing. Just go get the rebound.
Guys, you're going to be on a great team. Just enjoy the ride.
That's it. That's what you gotta do. You enjoy the ride.
You have to enjoy the ride.
That's it, brother.
Well, that's like no. It's a good point that you make. Is you have to remain humble in all of your successes.
Always.
And realize that, and we've talked about it too on the show, that there's a lot of people that said, "Oh, I'm a self-made millionaire. I'm a self-made this, or I'm a self-made." That's
a Tupac song.
And,
I'm a self-made millionaire.
And
Dogs living out of prison, pistols in the air.
And I always said, like, listen,
yeah.
nobody on the face of the earth is self-made.
That's right.
Nobody. Said everybody has got help from somewhere.
Have to.
Someplace, somewhere or another, they got help. Whether that is a mentor that has brought them up, whether that's a team in your production, whether it's a book that you read on how to do something.
That's
A
right.
guy off the
That
street.
book was written by somebody else.
Yeah.
There's always somebody
that gave you advice.
It's never
That's
just
right.
you. There's always, and let's say you never read a book, you never had a mentor, you have nothing. You don't have a manufacturing facility that's making your product. You're hand making everything, blah blah blah, and you're selling it. What about your customers that buy it?
That's right.
They have to buy it for you to be successful.
That's right.
So you're not self-made.
or watch it.
Somebody,
And
watch
films
it.
you've watched that you've learned from.
You are reliant on somebody else or other people
Always.
that have helped you get to where you're getting. So you always have to remain humble and be thankful for this entire team that you have.
Without a doubt. And that's why no curfew, I always say it. Sometimes people will send me messages. I'm sorry if I was wrong on the set to pick the time to choose to say what I said. Some I give chance to, and some I go, you're a one and done. You need to learn now from what you did.
Yeah.
One person was so in particularly bad timing of what they did and how they did that I would, and it's watch, there is no personal, but I would never give them another chance. You know why? Because I don't know if they would truly know what they blew. Because you need to learn it the hardest way now. Yeah. There ain't no, they learned it. No, they did not. When they did what they did, they need to learn it. I had to tell one person, you need to show me that you could handle this loss of being one and done. Because what you're doing right now is convincing me why I know you're one and done.
Yeah, you got to be able to take the L.
That's right. When you created this all on your own. Mm-hmm. And in film, in production, there's always going to be disappointment, but you do percentages. Like we said, you have 85 on the set and 5 disappoint. That's a great freaking thing.
Yeah.
Come on, it's not even 10%. It's phenomenal. But when they do, you just will never bring them back.
Right.
But you got to remember all the goods. That's like saying you got 99 compliments and one bad one, and you're going to harp on one bad one? Yeah. What about the 99 other good ones that you just 100%. Got?
Exactly.
No doubt.
And that's where you say to somebody, you got to check yourself, because then you're coming incorrect on thinking. Your thinking errors are bad.
And that kind of goes back to what you're saying. That you get the people on the, those 5 bad apples that you'd say that are the complainers. Or they're doing this. They think that they're above other people, whatever. Some people that don't realize, just because the script is written how it's written doesn't mean it can't change.
Oh, without
right? You could start day one, and this person might say, okay, hey, I got this beautiful script, and I'm casted for this role. And now day 1 or day 2, is that my lawn? So day 1 or day 2, they're rubbing you the wrong way, and they're not doing the way what you want them to do. You could easily just rewrite them out of the script. Be like, hey, you had 100 lines. Now you only got 5 because you're a complainer.
That is so true.
And they just think that it's set in stone. And that probably happens more than it doesn't happen, that you rewrite shit. Because you're like, I think it's going to look like this, but it doesn't really look the way I want it to look. So I don't really like the way that sounds. It sounded better in my head. Let me...
Here's a great thing. We're on the set, and we do what's called a car robbery. So we have to rob... I want to take a break for that?
Well, let me just...
Okay. I want to show you this. It's going to make you laugh.
You can't hear it on the...
There is a car robbery, and we shoot on Monday. We get off set. I go back to my hotel. I go to sleep. I wake up 5 a.m. I see a text message that says, brother, I'm sorry I can't bring the car for the scene. It's 5 a.m. That's how I woke up in the morning. I'm like, all right, this scene should be around noon. We need the car for us. So I said, all right. Right on the phone with my co-director, first AD, whatever you want to, it doesn't matter. He's my brother in arms. All right, we need to get a car.
We need a car.
All right, let's call such and such, bring the car. He's done. He's going to bring us a Cadillac, right? We're doing a car robbery that's supposed to get the kids the money and whatever. Picture this as a movie. We're sitting at the end of the one-way street, the dead end. The car turns right. He says he's turning the car. He's turning the block now. As he's coming down the block, I go, please tell me that the closer the car gets, it's going to look better. He goes, yeah, that would be a negative.
That's a negative, Ghost Rider.
Now, it is a total shit box. I go, what did you bring me? It's a Cadillac. No, it's a shit. This thing should be in the scrapyard.
It's a Cadillac.
Like, hey, listen, it's a car. I brought you a car.
So watch this. So I go,
better than not having a car.
I go, leave it alone. Leave it alone. Let's figure it out. Take the 3 actors. I go, all right, guys, come here. You see the dialogue? We're changing it up. We're going to do it where get the hanger, like you're trying to get the clicks to pull up the lock. Get the hanger. We're going to go old school on this. Get the hanger. Pretend you're doing it. Yell at your 2 cousins. Shut the fuck up, both of you. Stop being little bitches. Oh, and you're the other guy goes, all I really wanted to do was go to school. And now I'm going to get arrested for jacking some shit box that's not even getting more than $15. I go, use that.
I like that.
Got to be adaptable. You got to be able to
These kids
I like that.
Change the scene around that when I edited it the other day, I couldn't stop laughing.
So it went from being like a serious scene to like, you know what?
To the best
We're going to make light
one of the
this.
best scenes in the film, and it's a humorous one. It's showing 3 idiots as kids. The same 3 idiots me and my 2 cousins were.
Yeah.
So it was, I said, see?
Love it.
You just make it work.
That reminds me of, there's a scene in classic, one of the most iconic films. We're probably coming up to an end here. We're hour and 45 minutes in.
Okay.
But Pulp Fiction.
Okay.
Classic movie. There's a scene when John Travolta and Samuel L. Jackson are in the car.
Yeah.
And he blows the guy's head off. Okay.
By accident.
Now, I don't know if you know this scene, but the way that he said his line, he said, "I blew Jimmy's head off." Okay. He goes, but the way that he delivered the line made it comical because instead of it saying like, boom, and he was like, "Oh my God," he was just like, "Boom, I just blew Jimmy's head off." And he goes, "You what?" He goes, I slipped, the gun slipped, blew his head off, like, and they just played it off. It wasn't supposed to be like that. But the way John Travolta went to
it was perfect.
Quentin Tarantino and said, "Listen, I have an idea. I want to deliver it this way, almost like it's nonchalant." He's like, "I just blew Jimmy's head off." You what? The gun slipped. Like what?
It was an accident,
and it became just like
that's what makes it so much better.
And it made a serious scene. He goes, "It was written for me to just like blow his head off."
I've heard so many stories like that. Nothing will come to mind. But I watched stuff. I'm like, holy shit, that was like on the fly or ad libbed. I'm like, that made the movie. I'm like,
yeah.
Oh my God.
Another scene was when in Goodfellas and this was it wasn't scripted, and what James Gandolfini was it James Gandolfini? No, it was
not in
Paul
Savino.
Paul Savino.
Paul Savino, thank you. When he slaps Ray Liotta in the backyard,
yeah,
it wasn't scripted.
Yeah,
he's talking. He's like, "Don't fuck with this shit."
Right.
He goes, "I'm telling you, do what you had to do on the
Don't
inside.
make a
But I'm
joke
telling you
about it.
now, here and now. Don't fuck with it."
Yeah.
And then he's like, "I want to do it." And he slaps him, and he was like,
"Yeah,
that wasn't in the script." But he slapped him, and you got a stone cold shock, like, "Oh, I just got slapped," and it just added to the shock, like, "Oh shit, no, okay, no, you're right."
Starsky and Hutch,
yeah.
Vince Vaughn and Snoop Dogg. Vince Vaughn slapped Snoop Dogg without telling him. That wasn't part of the script, and Snoop Dogg was like, "It took every bone in my body." And I go back to the hood and be like, "Who is this motherfucker?" He's like, "But it's Vince Vaughn. He's just doing what he's doing. I just had to be in character."
In the show Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, I give the guy.
It's a good show. I watched that show.
I slapped the guy around and around and around. And when I did the scene, we filmed it in Steiner Studio. The director came back, and the director is Italian. And he goes, I forgot his name, James something. And he goes, "Chris, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm Italian, you're Italian, but you and me are so different." So I go, "What does that mean?" He goes, "I want to show you the playback how great this looks. And if you watch my clip on Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, I'm lining up the guy in the chair, and before we go and they're setting up cameras. I'm just staring at him. He goes, 'So Chris, I go, "Who the fuck is Chris? Who the fuck are you talking to?" He goes, "Chris, what are you talking?" I go, "Who the fuck is Chris? And where the fuck you get the balls to talk to me like you know me?" So he goes, "All right, slow down." Because I go, "Come on, man. I'm getting into character here." He goes, "So you're just joking?" I go, "Who the fuck said I'm joking?" I got
Tell me they left that in the...
So they didn't. So what happens if you watch it, it's no joke.
Yeah, you're right.
You see, I'll watch.
I've seen the show. Marissa and I used to watch it.
I'm telling you watch. You'll see the slap is you won't know. And when I saw it for the first time, 50 Cent and the whole crew from ABC for Life, when I came out the same time I was filming, when that happened, they were like, "Yo, you're the guy from..." And I go, "That's me." That was one of the highlights. And watch this. I'm going to show you. Colin, speaking of him. All right, watch. Hold on.
Yeah, it's like the door's kind of like open, and the guy's in the chair, and he's just... I didn't realize that was you. That's so funny.
Watch this. Ready? See? Alex Bornstein.
Are you actually hitting him?
So that is...
You're actually hitting him.
He's a stunt guy like me. So which means the chair was on a remote control chair.
Okay, so it's spinning.
So the guy in the corner is making a spin, but he's watching me go like this, so he's got enough time for me to come, and I'm just catching him just little.
Like barely, yeah.
Barely hitting him. And the smack when you're doing any kind of punch with a stunt is if the punch is here, you go this way across the line, but you get the reaction.
Yeah.
Or you go, if the head's here and here's an ear, you go this way. So you go up this, boom, 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 and the guy reacts, but it looks so real. This is the smack, but you have to come and bring it in.
And it's the camera angle, so it's looking like you're really hitting.
And you got to bring it in a little bit,
Yeah.
but you can't extend too out because then you're going to catch him in the ear.
Did you ever miss and actually hit him?
Couple shots.
I'm so
No, but that's the thing.
And when they say cut, you're like, listen, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to hit
Stunt coordinator, who is ours, and he has given me a ton of work. John Senatiempo, his name is Johnny C. He's badass. And he would sit there and say, and if you hold back, you're in trouble.
Yeah, you'll know.
And he goes to him, and if you don't take it, you're in trouble. So he goes,
I feel like you just accept it. Like, listen, we're acting.
This is your job.
I'm probably gonna get
Yeah.
one of these is gonna catch. Okay?
Absolutely right.
And you just take it.
Absolutely.
You got to
right.
expect that, no doubt.
Yeah.
It's part of the game.
It's part of the game.
That's it.
You don't want that? Don't go in acting.
That's right. That's part of the
Crazy.
game.
It's like athletes when they always talk about the football players or your hockey player.
Yeah.
It's like you go in, you get hit, and like, oh, we gotta protect the players in this. I'm like, listen, you don't want to get hit. Don't go into a contact sport.
right.
All right.
That's
like,
right.
listen, you have to know the risk. You're going into a sport where you're gonna get hit.
That's right.
So if you break a finger or you get a concussion, or you get the wind knocked out, like, it's football. It's hockey.
And they call it a lateral contusion of the right foot. It's a black and blue. Play through it.
Okay. You're gonna get hit. Right.
You're gonna get hit.
That's what you
Can't handle the heat. Get out of the
That's
kitchen.
right.
We're in there.
So anyway,
How much time we got? We still got time or what?
now we're done.
Okay.
Almost 2 hours. So
All right.
All right.
We're right there. Chris,
red carpet time.
you are the man. I know Justin's got a haircut appointment at like 2:30 or something. So
And I got to get back on that Bill Parker.
Yeah, you got to get before it.
Well, actually, it'll be good now because it's only.
I should
yeah.
move about now.
Yeah,
So.
no, this is probably prime time. But Chris, hell of a good time being
Guys,
here. We appreciate
awesome.
you coming on the podcast.
You
It's
guys
been,
are
it's
the
been awesome.
friggin'
You're the best, brother.
best, guys.
We appreciate you
The
coming
best,
all the way.
man.
It's been
Fucking
awesome.
You
Hell
guys are awesome.
You're awesome. Man. You're
This
awesome.
was
All
just
good
all
things.
energy.
All good things.
energy.
This is great.
We yelled, we cried, we laughed.
There's
a lot in here.
Bro, a lot of emotions, baby.
And I'll leave off with one thing. I always say this like I do on my thing. Anybody tells you can't do it, you tell them. Gaetano and Chris Boy said, I found goal. Don't let nobody tell you can't do anything because I'm proof of it.
I love it.
Right there. Don't you ever
Love
forget it.
Great success story.
Amen
That's
and
it,
amen.
man. That's
Chris,
it.
you're the
I
man.
love it.
As we say on the show, on the T-shirt, we like to say cheers, chin chin, and salute. Thank you, brother.
A salud.
We'll see you on the next
A
one.
salud. That's right.